Hello people, Linker here with patch 1.58. Haven't took a look at it. We're gonna live review the changes, get my first thoughts going into it so you can know what to expect and you can hear just kind of how we think this thing's out. First, the new Lightbearer hero, Elward. Now, I heard some people call them Clergy. I don't know what's up with that, but Protector of Souls sounds like a tank, has some competition in for Lightbearers. So has Hendrik and has Lucius he needs to handle. Nonetheless, going to be very interesting because Lightbearers right now do need a buff. They're the second, if not the worst faction in the game right now. Looking forward to see what he can deliver. Another one of those core support heroes. So if he's going to be very good, going to go alongside Rowan. I'm pretty certain. If he's going to be pretty bad, he's going to be another Lucius in the end game. Whatever it is you want. Definitely looking forward to see his abilities, which we will overview once they are out. New hero trials, love that. Bountiful trials, also that too. And next up, players can enroll for Abyssal. So Abyssal, we knew that thing is coming. I even predicted when it's gonna come. It seems like I'm pretty accurate. It's gonna be 23, it's 26. Yeah, so we're gonna have a new Abyssal on our hands. If you didn't like Abyssal, well, there should be quite some changes in this one. If you did like Abyssal, I'm happy for you. Personally, I think that's gonna take a lot of time from those guild leaders. I liked how they made the game more AFK. I would like them to stall this out a little more. While the event is awesome, people had a little bit too much with the two sequential ones when we had the Overlord reviews. So Abyssal looking interesting. Next up, Misty Valley. Alright, Misty Valley, another one of those that does take time. We're walking into a non-AFK era of AFKArena. This is a common complaint. If you like to stick to the game, if you're bored, if the quarantine got you with no work currently and you have more time on your hands, well, you might enjoy this. Some people like it less much so. Either way, I hope these events will be reworked to address the feedback we've been keeping to pass to the devs. I think they know that we don't like the game being too active due to how passive the recent event was. I hope they rework the events to make them more passive or at least more fun and engaging. So if we end up spending all the time on them, at least they're good. People know I've passed the criticism in the past. People commonly say you don't have to take part in them and you have casual mode, but personally the fear of missing out on gacha games I think is a pretty big thing that the devs gotta address in these events if they want us to actually enjoy them. I bet there's a lot of dev time going into it and there's a bunch of quality of life stuff they can change with that dev time, so I'm looking forward to see that and I'm definitely gonna be critical of it. Up next, new Voyage. Nobody really cares. Added the Frozen Hinterland to Trials of God. Okay, so we have two more class artifacts, and these are going to be the tricky ones. Stage 3260 is actually going to be going towards the end game, so not going to be accessible to everybody anymore. Not as easy, even after campaign reworks. 3260 is end to late game, depends on your definition. Some people define it very late game, but I'm not making it this video right now. You OGs watching this know what I'm talking about. If you're new and like advanced AFKArena commentary, definitely smash like, subscribe, the bell, considering joining, everything like that really helps me out. Let me know what you think below and we're gonna keep going through. So as predicted, new support class artifact. Ooh, that is dangerous territory. Dangerous territory. If they make it better than Call, I think it's going to be pretty tricky to balance. We know support class is going to be very strong. Even with Irons introduced, I think the biggest indirect nerf to support being a mage hero that's so prominent, nerfing the God comp, which is the prime role of support heroes. That's primarily where they go. Also, the heroes on the very edge of the support corner. If you're talking Morph, for example, recently having to fight with Peepa and Morph are common placements. Definitely going to watch for that. So anyway, Seraphic Tide is going to be in the game. Gonna look forward for that. I think if they make it anything that's remotely strong or comparable to Call, this is going to bring those sets back strong. Personally, I would release another kind of Tide Bearer power level, maybe slightly higher than that, because otherwise you're really power creeping all these other factions. I like seeing the tanks kind of rise, and even with that, stall comp is getting nerfed by the second. Almost never seen in PvP anymore, by the way. Maybe as a 5th set kind of status, but not as strong as it used to be. Burst running rampant, missing it, but I digress. Seraphic Tide is going to be a buff to the support, so We hope they don't break the game entirely. Like imagine if they gave like a Chaos Bringer to like a Rowan or something, that would be completely broken. Added a new campaign chapter, chapter 40. Now I heard a bunch of rumors about how they're gonna change this one. If it's just gonna be default progression, well that's well because people are in the end. If they're gonna add a couple sets and stuff like that, like some hot rumors I've heard, that makes no sense to me. But if it's gonna happen, you know, it's gonna be completely insane. Gonna change some building priorities for players over there. Obviously this is gonna be Wales only, but they also address the recent difficulty for those lower investment players. Personally, I don't spend as much as most whales do, so I'm not in chapter 36, 37 as of the time of this video. I'm the middle chapter of 35, and going towards there, VIP curve is getting pretty stiff even for the OG players in region 1, region 2. You barely see people below VIP 15 past chapter 35, 36. It's very rare, so only high spending. And so that you can advance all the kind of progression in the game, they also reduce signature item levels of some enemies found within chapter 35 to 37. So signature items incredibly tough. That's why people get stuck in the middle of chapter 35 when all of a sudden Talene gets her +10, gets 5 buffs, make it very difficult. Not as much anymore. It's going to be slower curve, because here it happened in chapter 35 in like 4 chapters. It's like 4 boss levels and you're already at +20s. And that's like really rough. Accordingly, we also see the reducing King's Towers. So campaign curve gonna keep it up, but many people were not ready for how hard are the stages in chapter 35 gonna be, how hard Katie in the very high floor is gonna be. So we see the adjustments come in that are supposed to make this content more accessible to everybody. Personally, I like the ability to have more content. Like being stuck for a month isn't really as fun for anybody, even if you're min-maxing. So yeah, that really encourages spending. This incredibly slow pace of the game. I'd love it personally if we had 100 chapters and do just all slightly increased in difficulty. I think that's more fun. Obviously a part of the game, because you're doing it for the gachas, you're stuck, so you're having fun when you actually break through. But for some people it's been getting a little bit frustrating, so good news overall. Next up, Fable. What do you think about Fable? It kind of deprecates TR's idea. With Fables, once you hit a certain level, you always get into Legend, you always get the max rewards. This gives a bad experience to the players below those levels that have to work and are actually getting caught behind, because if I'm just like right now wailing, I get to level like 500 if they said it there. Everybody at level 300, 400 on my server are just going on a larger and larger gap away from me. It's kind of a winner takes all scenario. So overall, don't like the win more scenario, but I like the competition. For example, in the arena changes, how the current meta has it. So every single comp is a counter, even Lucretia Online, even Irons. Check out the video we did about that. And 11, optimize the order in which guild contributors is sorted. That's just going to be a quality of life. Alright, next two are going to be bug fixes. These are not going to be balance changes as much, but they are, I guess, kind of indirect buffs. First is going to be Kelthor. When he died, occasionally the fight would end. I think this had to do with the haste benchmark. So if it's really fast and he got to the dead state, he would just finish the game very fast. He would not get to use this whole dead state with certain allies. Stuff like Talene Flora kind of combos were pretty tricky. And nonetheless, next is going to be Silas. So another one that has the tricky ally counting stuff when allies are half dead or intargetable. Personally, he kept up the healing haze, and then when the last hero would be like Talene, there was a little bit of an issue. This is not going to be a huge buff or a nerf. I mean, sure, they do work together, so the fact that the healing haze did not dissipate kind of nerfs him. All in the same, I think the main niche that Silas found is not even counter healing as much as it is enabling certain carries. So, personally, looking forward for these changes, not super hyped for them. The Lightbearer hero I think is awesome, the new artifact I think could be game breaking, and the nerf will allow people to experience more content. All in the same time, I'm worried this is going to be an AFKArena fest where the AFK is out of AFKArena and we're all going to be stuck to our screens 5 hours a day. Not looking forward to that. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this brief review. I hope you like it live and unscripted. Let me know what you think below. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for the support, and I've been Linker. Peace.